100% listener-funded missionary radio.
Welcome.
How are you today, Andrew?
I reckon I'm doing okay, Brian.
Been a day?
Yeah, I think we just ran up some stairs. Both of us are out of breath. I was getting the shot
rough.
right.
A little rough.
Yeah, but it's good to have you on Meet the Radio Missionary. And as I'm getting levels, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Brian Foley. Live in Western Kentucky. I've lived in Western Kentucky my entire life. Grew up in Graves County in Simsonia, Slab Town, for those that are familiar.
Slab Town?
Slab Town,
You
yeah.
have to explain that.
From what I understand, now I can't promise this is true because it came down over the years. I've never seen it official. But when people would come through town on the roads were just dirt. And so they would bring their horse and carriage through town. And somebody important was coming to town one time, and they laid, from the sawmill, they laid slabs of wood down, and the term Slab Town just sort of stuck.
Isn't it funny how things just stick?
Yeah, it is.
So we're going to get to how you stuck to radio and how it from what I understand, you left it for a while, then it came back. So it sounds like it stuck to you.
It is. It's stuck to me, especially Christian radio.
Amen.
I've tried other kinds, and I just keep coming back to Christian
It doesn't
radio.
feel right, does it?
It doesn't.
I know what you mean. I've done country, I've done college radio, and I've done all kinds of stuff. Classic hits and news guy. I mean, I've done a lot of things, but nothing fills my heart and my soul like serving King Jesus.
Absolutely.
Now, let's back up a little bit. Brian Foley, you're on Missionary Radio. You're on WVHM. And Thrive FM.
And Thrive, yes.
So you're getting used in a good way.
That's right, yeah. I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. I do 8 shifts a week right now, 5 on WVHM, 2 on the weekends on Missionary Radio, and then I'm on Saturdays kind of in the afternoon on Thrive.
You're right after me.
Yeah.
About 12:45, my track is coming up next. Brian Foley at 1 o'clock is going to hang out with you and keep the worship rolling here on Thrive FM. I don't know if you've ever heard me say that.
I have, and I
so
appreciate
sorry.
you. Appreciate you building me up.
I try to do that with Lynn too, because Lynn's after me on Thrive. But like I said, we're here to talk about you.
Okay.
So you're from Simsonia.
Simsonia.
Let's talk about how you got to where you are now. We only have 20-something minutes. So
Okay. All right.
Whatever you got.
I can do it.
Okay.
All right. So I graduated from high school, from Graves County High School in 1992.
Okay.
The schools had consolidated, so we went to the big high school, met a lot of people, but it was actually my Sunday school teacher. I think, and I can't promise that it was exactly the week after graduation on Sunday morning, she was talking to her daughter, who I had just graduated with, before class, like they hadn't talked to each other during the week. And she was like, oh, by the way, I work with Jimmy, and Jimmy's on the board of Heartland Ministries, which owned WVHM at the time.
HMI?
Yeah. And at that time, it was only WVHM.
Oh, was it only
that was the only station.
Wow.
And he said that if you wanted to work in radio, that they needed somebody, and he could get you a job. And she said, well, I don't want to do that. And I said, well, I will. And that's really how it started.
You just happened to be there?
Yeah, I just happened to be sitting there.
Wow.
And later that week, I went and met with Cecil Glass, who was the general manager at the time, and Daryl Gibson, who was the president of the ministry. And they hired me, and that weekend, I started working on Southern Gospel Radio and didn't know anything about radio, didn't really know anything about Southern Gospel music. The little bit that I knew about radio during high school, I had won a media award, and it was sponsored by an AM station in Mayfield, and they brought me out there, and I recorded a spot, and that was...
Did you butter it up? I'm Brian Foley. I'm a high schooler.
I don't even remember. I think I was nervous. Actually, I think the feedback I got was you need to sit still in your chair, because as I was talking, I think I was going back and forth. And
I'm the worst about that.
Yeah.
People can't see you though.
That's right.
But they could, and you're probably like, yes, sir.
Yeah, I did. I was like,
so you
whatever.
won a media award. Well, you're like, what, 16, 17 years old?
Yeah, well, 17, 18. That was my senior year of high school, and I did a lot of TV stuff in high school and won it for that. But then, it was, like I said, it was a radio station that was doing it. So that was the extent of what I knew. But I instantly fell in love with the radio part of it.
Yeah.
It took me a little bit to fall in love with the ministry side of it.
Gotcha.
I remember thinking, like when they were talking about our first share-a-thon, which was just a few months later, I remember thinking, this is crazy. Like, why don't we just go sell ads like everybody else does?
Yeah.
Why don't we, why don't we
They weren't underwriting at the time?
There was underwriting, but it was a very, very small portion.
Wasn't as aggressive per se?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, why don't we just go sell ads and not do that? Because they were talking about things were tight and stuff. And I'm like,
logical in your
other radio
mind.
stations. And then I attended Share-a-thon and worked in my first Share-a-thon. And I'm like, yeah, okay, so something special is going on here.
Gotcha.
This is really neat.
Early 90s.
Yes, it was 92.
92. Okay.
Yeah.
Continue.
Okay. And so from there, I actually stayed full time at WVHM until about 2000, 2001.
So you were there a while.
Yeah.
The 90s, that was your thing.
Yeah. That was
Wow.
what I did for several years after school. And I went to college during that time. Started out at PCC, which is now West Kentucky Community and Technical College.
It's still PCC in my heart.
It is. It's still PCC.
It's always going to be that.
Yeah. It's easier to say, too.
So did you? Yeah, it is. So did you get a media thing going on there?
I did. I was doing media there. While I was there, they decided they wanted to do like a campus radio station. Really wasn't radio. We had a little booth that was connected to the gym. It was actually an old ticket booth because they weren't selling tickets.
Sounds
for
like
anything
bare bones
anymore.
radio to me.
Yeah, and so all we had was some speakers out there, and we just played music all through the day. We all had our shifts, and
Was that a signal going out, or what was that?
it was just speakers.
I thought those were your monitors.
No, they called it
There's
radio,
everything.
but there was two large speakers, and it just broadcast across.
So it
campus.
was like a lemonade stand for aspiring radio
It really
kids.
was. Yeah,
or
that's what it
something.
was. That was the best we had, so that's
Right,
what we
right.
did. And then at the same time, I was still working at WVHM. Then I went to Murray State.
Were you the guy that knew everything? Where you're like, actually, guys, this is how you do radio.
I was probably that annoying.
So anyway, I had to ask.
Yeah. And then at WVHM, I've done, I guess, about every job except the general manager there. I was just a weekend DJ at first.
You climb towers?
I didn't climb towers, but me and Mike Wood, we worked several shifts together at the time, and we did a lot of climbing inside the building and in the attic. And we didn't do towers, but we did a lot of. We helped fix a lot of things.
So that
and we didn't know what we were doing, but we figured out a lot of things.
Well, you didn't get zapped, did you?
I did once.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I was out with
spoiler alert.
Was out with the engineer. We had just got hit by lightning, so I went out to the transmitter. Wasn't anything to do at the station.
Me next.
And he said, "Hey, could you move that choke?" And I don't know if you know what the choke is, but it looks like a car battery inside there. And I reached down to grab it, and he had missed it with his discharge stick. And so
You were his discharge stick.
Yeah, I took about 50,000 volts of low amperage, and that was fun. I mean, it was interesting.
Did you see the white light at the end
I
of the
didn't
tunnel?
see the white light, but my arms sort of clenched,
I would
and
say.
I couldn't move them. And
Wow, man.
they finally just eventually started moving, and my fingers were split open. And
So was your light sparked for Jesus even more after
oh, yeah,
that?
absolutely.
You're like, you spared my
Yeah,
life.
He lit me up.
So, wow, man. So you've done a lot of different things in
Yeah.
radio.
Yeah. I was
Aside
the music
from-
director for a while.
Yeah.
I was the program director for a while. So yeah.
Did you just want to try everything, or is that just how it happened?
You know, we were such a small station. Everybody had to do something, and sometimes it was just your turn to take that thing. And I did. I wanted to do it all. I would have. I've always been kind of the person that doesn't like to delegate. I think I can just do it all. I can't, and I fail usually miserably when I try
That's
to do
humbling.
it all. It is
Very humbling.
but that's how I am, and
Yeah.
so I wanted to learn it all. I wanted to do it all. Got really involved in the Southern gospel music industry.
Nice.
Made lots of friends. Went to things. We'd get calls from artists. Come to Nashville. We're there tonight doing this and that.
That sounds fun for a young guy.
It was a lot of fun. Got to meet a lot of people, and then that kind of crosses over into the more contemporary Christian music because they're all friends. So you start meeting those people.
It's all for the same purpose, just sounds a little different.
Yeah, just a little different sound. So a few years down the road, then we decided that we were going to open another radio station, and that was when WAAJ came into existence.
What was that called? Because I remember that.
It was 89.7 at the time, and it was We're All About Jesus.
Well, was it the JFM?
The JFM.
The JFM.
Yeah.
That's what I was
It became the
getting at.
JFM later.
Yeah, I'm aware of WAAJ.
When we got a little cooler, it became the JFM.
I feel like when I first started with Missionary Radio and we were still in the Heartland Ministries building, I feel like I saw a sticker that said that.
Yeah.
And I just remembered when we were on furlough, this had to be about 90. Was it around 96?
It would have been right in there. I don't remember. I've lost
Somewhere
some
in
of those
there,
dates in my head.
I remember hearing that radio station.
Yeah.
Thought it sounded cool.
Yeah.
So you're right about the cool.
Yeah.
I was
Oh, yeah.
about 9 years old, and that was still cool to me.
We tried our best. We tried to do morning shows and do all of that stuff. Of course, it was just a bunch of people that we had Daryl, who had training in radio, and that was the extent of our training in radio. And the rest of us were just trying to wing it and just trying to figure it out, trying to be funny when we could be and be serious when we needed to be. And
it's a fine line, man.
It is, and we crossed it a few times.
Well, in the process, you figure out your flow, and it takes a while. Some of us are just natural, and some of us, like you said, we get our training, whatever that means. You said, let's go, you know, get in there and do it. And you learn along the way, and that's what life is all about.
Absolutely.
And so you did it for X amount of time. We say 92 to 2000?
Yeah, 2000. It was kind of mid 2000 somewhere.
So about
in there.
8 years ish, more than that.
Yeah, about eight and a half.
8.5.
Yeah,
so once that happened and you got out of it for a while, where did you go and why? And all
I went
that?
to work at a local church, doing as like the sound video guy. I met a guy who was doing their radio program. He kind of got me involved, and then
so it was nothing unusual.
No,
just jump right into it.
Yeah, just moved into the next.
Maybe a little different settings and buttons, but similar.
Yeah, similar stuff. So I did that for several years. Then left there. Kind of got another couple other jobs after that. Ended up at the church that we're at now, Hardin Baptist Church. I went on staff there in around, I want to say it was late 2003, I believe. Went and talked to Brother Ricky and Trad York at the time was the associate pastor, and they were going into a building project. So I kind of became the sound, light, and video guy for Hardin Baptist Church, and we took a team of volunteers, installed the sound in that new building, which was way beyond what I needed to be, what I should have been doing.
So this is mid 2000s, essentially.
Yes, yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah, it opened in 2005.
Literally mid 2000s.
Yeah.
So they had you doing all that stuff.
So I was doing all that stuff, and then story kind of took a weird turn. I kind of got off base. Got into a time of sin. Yeah. And
I get it.
And really kind of went the wrong direction. Actually, during that time, I worked for another radio station. As I was coming out of that time, I guess, or toward the end of that time, I went to work at another radio station, a secular station. Had a good time, enjoyed it. I was also working a job at a hotel and some other things.
Sound like late nights to me.
Yeah, it was late nights. No matter which job I was
those
working.
are 2 late night jobs, man. Especially when you start off.
For a while there, I was working at the hotel on Fridays until 10 o'clock. I had to be at the radio station at 11, and I worked until 4 in the morning. Then I was back at the hotel at 7, and then back there till 3, and then back in the radio station at 10 that night.
I believe they call that burning the candle at both ends.
Yeah, and it quit being fun. That's exactly what I said. I was like, I do radio because it's fun and I enjoy it, and this quit being fun.
Was it empty?
Yeah, it really was. And then I like to say, I've got actually where I record my radio stuff for WVHM.
Voice tracking.
Yeah, where I do my voice tracking. It's in my bedroom, and I've got a little studio set up there, and I've got a picture that hangs right above my head. It's a sheep that's out in the middle of a wooded area, and you can see Jesus in the background running toward that one sheep that's just out there by itself.
The 99,
and
go back for the one.
Yeah, went back for the one, and I was that one for a while.
Yeah.
And I've said it on the air several times. During that, at the end of that time in my life, my pastor, Brother Ricky Cunningham, he was kind of Jesus with skin on, running toward me. He came and got me, and it wasn't fun.
He didn't give up on you, man.
He didn't. It wasn't fun. I mean, he made me go through a time of church discipline, where I was not even allowed to attend church. I had a series of studies that I was to do, and then I wrote a paper on that every week.
You were still on staff?
No, I was not on staff. I had left
at
the start of that time, but he came after me even after I had left, and had done some things that were that affected him. Some of the things that I had done affected him, and he still came after me, and he still pursued, and he still held my feet to the fire.
Wow!
And the funniest thing is, to me, I don't know if it's funny, but
that's what we say about things to describe them.
That's right. Yeah,
I say it all the time.
So whenever I was doing those series of Bible studies, he wanted me to go somewhere where there was accountability that I was doing it, and he could also know that I was there and that I was actually doing what he had asked me to do. And so I went to the radio station in Hardin. There was
Where
somebody
else?
there.
Yeah.
There was sometimes I didn't go in. Sometimes I sat in my car in the parking lot, but it was just a comfortable place for me, and it was right there close to the church,
Like a familiar sanctuary.
Yeah. And so I would see a deacon or one of the members of the board of trustees would drive by
School's
every
right
Sunday.
there.
I would see them drive by while I was there on Sunday morning doing my study, just checking up on me, make sure I'm actually there.
They knew you were there.
And yeah, and so I had talked to Diane and Daryl several times about coming back to Christian radio. And they knew my story. They knew that I had got off and I'd got off into sin.
Yep.
And Diane just kept saying, it's just not the right time. We have to protect the ministry, and I appreciate that.
It's understandable.
And then finally, I don't even know when it was, 3 or 4 years ago. I talked to her again, and so Heartland Ministries was still in effect at the time.
Yeah.
The transition to missionary radio hadn't happened. And there were a couple members of the board, Alan Miller, I don't know if you know him, from First Missionary Baptist in Benton, and then Brian Brophy, who is a Church of Christ preacher in Paducah. They were members of the board at Heartland Ministries, and so they set up a meeting with me, and we went to a restaurant, and we talked, and they were like, tell me your story, tell me, why do you want to come back, why do you want to do this, and they prayed about it, I prayed about it. And they called me back, and they were like, we feel like you're in the right place, and we want to ask you to come back. And
wow.
So I started doing some voice tracking on WVHM.
How did that feel after all that time?
Oh, it was awesome.
All that work you put into it, proving yourself, not just to them, but to our Father above.
Absolutely. It was absolutely worth it.
Wow.
It was incredible.
Probably a load lifted off, man.
Yeah.
In the soul.
Yeah, and I tried to do the right things during that time. And Brother Ricky from time to time says, I told somebody your story the other day. He says, I never use your name, but now I'm saying it all right here. So if Brother Ricky has told you, that was me.
Yeah, there he is, folks. Yeah. Now you know what he looks like.
It was me, and it's okay because it's not a part of my story I'm proud of.
Yeah, but
it is a part of my story that I'm proud I came through.
People could be touched by that. Whoever he told him for a reason.
Yeah, well, he just said that church discipline works if you'll actually do it.
Yeah,
and I tell him every time he tells me that, I'll be like, you need to tell them that I didn't always do it with a happy heart.
No,
and sometimes I thought you were dumb.
It's part of discipline, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just like a kid. When you discipline a kid, they think you're the dumbest person in the world. And
it probably means a lot to you, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So he helped me get back doing the right thing. My marriage was in trouble at the time. Everything. I was in danger of losing everything, and God in His mercy spared all of that.
Wow. I don't even know how to follow that like that. I didn't know that about you. Of course, I don't know you super well, man. But it's humbling to hear other people like myself who have had their ups and downs in their spiritual walk. Because I didn't rededicate my life till about 3 years ago.
Absolutely.
And I was raised. I was raised. My father.
Yeah.
Preachers.
You were a missionary.
I was everything, man. I was MK, PK. All that. KO sometimes. I'm just kidding for being, tough. But no, man, I get it. And one of the most beautiful things about that, not only that those folks were in your corner and that they believed in you, but that you came back around.
Yeah.
And you, yeah.
Now I'm on the tech team again at church, and I'm, doing things and have some level of responsibility at times. And
same church.
Yeah, same church. Yeah. Now we stepped away for a little while all this was going on. Just to kind of heal, but we're welcome back, and it was almost like we've been waiting for when you're going to come back. And
there's spiritual stuff, and then there's human stuff.
Yeah.
And when you mix it up, sometimes it gets complicated.
Absolutely. We ended up for a time at Heartland Church in Paducah.
Yeah.
Brother Nathan was
great
instrumental
guy
in helping us work through and
that's where I go
and do the things. Yeah,
I think a lot of those guys, man.
Yeah, a bunch of great guys over there.
Yeah.
And so I was that kid. I grew up and didn't really have a story. My mom was the church custodian. My dad was the superintendent of the Sunday school. He was the head of the deacons. We were there. We were the custodians, so we were there to open the door,
lights
and we
on,
were
lights
there
off.
we were there to lock it up. And in the summer, I hung out at the church and
Yep.
played basketball in the gym and
Rated the snacks.
yeah, oh, absolutely.
Come on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Vacation Bible school in the summer.
Yeah.
Discipleship training. I don't know if they all
Yeah.
called
Oh,
it that.
and there was a time I actually, for fun, I would go with the pastor where I grew up. I would go with him to funerals and things because
For fun,
what
huh?
else was I going to do? Yeah, I'm at the
Never heard a
church all
kid
day
doing that, man. Wow.
Well, I would just go wherever he went. So I'd go to the hospital or whatever.
learn
So
from
I
that
grew
way.
up, and I was not somebody that didn't know,
Right.
and that didn't have the background, and
We
didn't,
all sin. We all
Yeah,
fall short,
absolutely.
even though
And
we know.
I walked the aisle when I was 5 years old, and I thought
Wow.
I thought I was sincere. And,
Yeah.
and I thought I was sincere all the way up until it was obvious that I wasn't.
Yeah.
I thought that on the outside, but I mean, I could tell on the inside that
God knows and you know.
yeah,
For
absolutely,
sure.
absolutely. So anyway, that's my story. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's,
man.
it's a different story than other stories, but
No. I've loved throughout this series when I haven't had to talk much. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I've loved getting to know you guys and hearing your stories. Everybody is completely different, but we're all on the same team. We all look different. We all sound different, but it's nice that we have all our experiences that we have that contribute to the whole, our own testimonies. And, it's the diversity within the Christian ranks is great, but
Yeah.
we're all part of one body.
yeah,
And I want to backtrack just a little bit. We've been talking about your radio and stuff like that, your experience in that. Tell us about your family real quick. I forgot to ask about that.
I forgot to say it.
Listening.
It was in my head.
So you're married.
I'm married. My wife Mary. We've been married. It'll be 29 years in December.
Congratulations.
She has put up with me for a long time.
That is a long time, man.
It is. It's a lifetime so far.
That's like you were at WVHM when that happened.
We
If
were.
I'm
We
doing my math.
actually met through WVHM. The guy that sort of lured me away to that first church that I went to.
Yeah.
It's kind of an interesting story. She was dating his son at the time, and
Okay.
and was wearing a promise ring and all that stuff. And he introduced me to her. And
That's
then,
90s Christianity for sure.
It is, yeah. And then I got her a job at the radio station. I helped her get hired on there, and but then
I see what you're doing.
well, but it really wasn't because I didn't like her.
Oh, well, all right.
Diane, being the matchmaker she was always trying to get some people together at WVHM, and she really kept pushing it, and
She saw something, I guess.
I was not interested. And,
Wow.
Was I think I don't know if I really wasn't interested or if I just didn't want to pretend that I was interested. I really don't know what was
You're
going on.
praying hard
there
to
in
get
that
tough
time.
guy. I see.
But I made a statement one time. I said, Diane, I will date her when hell freezes over. And
How about them odds?
it was just a few weeks after that. I was in my car. Paul Harvey was on the radio,
The rest of the story.
and he said, "Folks, hell has frozen over."
Oh boy.
There was a town in Michigan called Hell,
And it
and it had frozen over. And
Goodness great. That's pretty funny. That is
yeah,
pretty funny.
and so that was kind of
Did you take that as like, okay,
well, it
Funny.
it made me think. And,
Yeah.
and so we started dating, and then we got married, and
wow.
of just well, it was about a year and a half later we got married.
So you didn't just walk up, hey, will you marry me?
Oh no.
I know.
We dated for about a year and a half. We were engaged within probably 7-8 months, and then
Nice. So you're working together.
yeah, and we worked
that.
together. We did an evening contemporary Christian show on Saturday nights on WVHM.
Perfect time for it, man.
Yeah, and we had our 3 hours of music, and then went into I don't know if you remember Dawson McAllister. He was a Christian teenager talk show host back in the 90s.
Possibly.
Had a great show, and and then we got to go interact with him and be on his show one time down in
Nice.
Tennessee, and so we just sort of grew up in radio together. She doesn't do it anymore. She should, because she's really good at it, and she can think on her feet. And yeah. Or if you're listening, you should. And
She hears you enough, man.
yeah, I know. She probably gets tired of
I'm
hearing
doing
me.
radio.
or me saying, "Y'all got to be quiet. I'm
Yeah.
recording."
Yeah. So you said y'all. Who else?
So we got the two boys.
Okay.
John Phillip, he is headed into his sophomore year at Murray State,
Not too far from home.
No, not too far at all.
Nice.
I think we might have seen him more if he would have went further away, because
That's funny.
he would have had to come home for some reason.
Oh, they always do.
Yeah,
They
but
will
he
always
doesn't come home as often because he's just down the road. But he's doing good, thriving, planning to be a lawyer. So
You guys work ahead of him.
yeah, he's doing all of his pre-law stuff right now at Murray State.
So he's getting his bachelor's and things like that,
Yeah.
or is it pre-law?
He's doing his bachelor's in political science, and then
'cause you gotta
he'll
do-
move on to law
yeah.
school. Yeah.
So you have him, and then
We have Thomas. Who, at the day we're recording this, he will be 14 years old tomorrow.
okay,
So we'll be celebrating his birthday, and he is completely opposite of John Phillip. John Phillip has always been the studious. Everything is about a book. Everything is about learning everything.
the
you can.
intellectual child.
Yeah, and now Thomas is too.
Yeah.
But Thomas is all hands on.
Gotcha.
Thomas loves to fish. Thomas wants to be on his 4-wheeler.
Sounds like a country boy to me.
Yeah, he plays his guitar. He takes lessons from Clay Campbell.
Nice.
He sings. He's written a couple of worship songs.
Awesome.
That
See, I love
he's-
that. I'm a
that he's
musician.
very reluctant to share. So
He's still really young, though.
He is.
He's
And
only
he gets a
14.
little nervous. So he's very talented.
But he
and,
has started at an early age, and he'll only get better. When I was 18, I thought I knew everything.
Oh yeah.
Joined a rock band, rebellious.
Yeah.
Man, I wasn't that good. So,
Yeah.
like, if the fact that he's doing it now and he's doing it for the right reasons is great.
Yeah, and he is, and so that's the two kids, and
Okay.
and Mary, and we just have
Pets.
our little house and our two little dogs.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
got dogs. What are they named?
Ellie,
Okay.
that's odd. I had to think for a second. Ellie is the big dog.
Throwing questions at you, man.
Yeah, and then we have Zoe, who is the little part Chihuahua, part Min Pin, and she will tear you up.
I was about to ask. You got big and little. Usually, it's we know who's ruling.
The little one will bite you.
That's
I promise.
funny. Yeah.
Especially if Mary is in the house, because she
That's her person?
She protects Mary at
Gotcha.
all costs. So.
So you guys, do you still live in Simpsonia?
No, we're in Marshall County now, out
Marshall
in
County.
Fair Dealing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fair Dealing. That's out there. Is that near towards Jonathan Creek and
it
all
is.
that?
Yeah, Johnson
Okay.
Creek, Aurora, out in that area.
So you're out in sticks.
Yeah, pretty
essentially.
much. Yeah.
So what is your 9 to 5?
So I am the assistant park manager at Kentucky Dam Village State Resort Park. Been there now for 2 years.
Okay.
And I'm really enjoying it. It's challenging.
Yeah,
It's
I would say.
something different every day.
It's a whole park, man.
Yeah, we got golf course, campground, the lodge. We got the cottages. We got the marina, which is run by somebody else, but from time to time it still involves us. And we
Wow.
got 1,500 acres of land there that we're trying to maintain.
So in the midst of that full-time job, you're doing a lot of tracking, a lot of voice tracking.
I am.
Remind listeners again, Missionary Radio, VHM, and Thrive.
And Thrive, yeah.
So when are you on Missionary Radio?
I
again?
do Saturday mornings 5 to 10 and Sunday nights 5 to 10.
Okay.
And
So weekends.
yeah,
And then
all weekends.
You get a lot of weekend because you're on Thrive.
Yeah, then I'm on
Is it
Thrive
1 to
from
7?
1 to 7 on
And then
Saturday.
VHM is
VHM is Monday through Friday, 10 to 2.
okay. So yeah, you're in the heart of it, man. You're all over the place.
All over, everywhere.
And that's what a blessing that is. I of course didn't
it's
know
fun.
your story, but the
Yeah.
fact that you came back, were you already part of Missionary Radio whenever the merger happened with Heartland?
I was doing WVHM, and the funny thing about that is I had actually reached out to your dad
Nice.
before I knew that the merger was happening, and I just sent him an email and it's like, hey, I don't know
Sup?
I don't know if you have any more, if you ever have other voice tracking opportunities
Yeah.
available at your station,
Yeah.
but I would be interested.
Cool.
And his reply back was like, there are some things happening behind the scenes. I'll talk to you in a
Big
couple of
things
months.
coming, yo.
Yeah, yeah. But I'll talk to you in a couple months, and then
That's
then I
okay.
find out that this is happening, and then he calls me, and then
Here you are.
we start doing this. It was a few months into the merger whenever I came over here and started.
Yeah. You probably came about the time I did. I came around August of 2023.
Yeah, it was somewhere
Something like that.
somewhere in there. It was I think I was a little bit more toward the first part of the summer.
Oh, okay. I met you at, I think it was, it was VHM's Carathon.
Yeah,
And I remember meeting you, and you're looking around. Hi, who are you? Essentially,
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
I'm this guy. Oh, cool,
yeah.
But Brian, we've been talking a little while. I want to circle back around, and we've heard your story and your testimony, and I'm sure there's a lot more to it that we don't even have time to cover. Obviously, everybody's testimony is
yeah.
deep. But what does radio mean to you as we're ending this? And what would you like folks to know?
I think Christian radio to me, it's just like the ultimate way to reach everybody. I mean, everybody's got a car. Everybody is listening at some point in time. Even people that say, I don't listen to radio.
You flip it on.
They do. They flip it on in
you
the
get
car.
tired of whatever you listen to, you flip it on.
Yeah. And to me, it's the opportunity to go through walls that we normally can't go through. Like I know I've heard stories over the years of people that we'll hear from that have been in prison.
Wow,
and
me too.
They had a radio.
I met one. I interviewed one.
Yeah. So they had a radio. That was all they had, and all they had to listen to. And they
this
find
is what
us.
they got.
Yeah.
And one of these.
Yeah. And so
Awesome.
it's just a way to pierce through walls. I mean, I say all the time, we can pierce through the walls of a prison, a hospital. People that are laying a loved one to rest
at their
and
hardest
they flip
times,
up that radio
man.
at the times when things are tough.
Yep.
And sometimes I know we get in a hurry and and we think we don't put the time in that we normally put in to doing stuff. And it sometimes it seems like those times somebody will come up and say, I heard what you said the other day, and I'm like, what did I say?
Amen. I feel that.
And it seems like God just lays the right thing on your heart at the right time.
You blessed me in that moment, and I was able to blah 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 blah, and I sought the Lord, and the rest is history.
And you're like, I don't even recall what I was talking about.
We're a vessel.
Yeah.
Even when we don't know it, God's using us.
Absolutely.
Even at our hardest, even at our worst, God can use us.
Yeah.
I want folks to know that. I know y'all watching, however you're watching this, whether on YouTube or Facebook, we're just two guys.
Yeah.
Two completely different guys with different lives serving the same big God.
Yeah, just about as regular and normal and boring as you can get. There's nothing
Speak
special
for
about
yourself.
me.
I'm just kidding.
No, there's nothing special
Right.
about me. And
Same.
there's no reason that I was chosen to be able to be on the radio, except that I was available that day. Got out of high school and I needed a job, and I actually had talked to some people at a local secular station and was talking to them about a job, and had went down and recorded some things, and they offered me a job, and I said, well, I've got this thing going at this gospel station. I think I'm going to try that.
Probably okay, dude.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. They were like, yeah, whatever. And
you're lost, buddy.
Yeah,
but actually not.
No, absolutely not. It's so fulfilling, and I do the 9 to 5 thing every day, and I come home and sometimes it's like 9 o'clock at night, and I'm like, oh, I haven't recorded for tomorrow yet.
You can tell in your voice, not yours. I can tell in my voice if I waited all day.
Yeah. Sometimes you can.
Yeah.
But
you have
but
to.
it's not like it, when I think of that and when I have to go do it, it's not like, oh, I've got to go do it. It's, it's still lots of little spark in me when I get to do it.
Sharing your heart.
I just
the Lord,
love it.
about the Lord.
Yeah,
that's for me.
Yeah. I just love it. Love everything about it, and I hope that I can do it for a lot of years.
Amen.
Yeah.
Let's end on that, Brian.
All right. Yep.
Thanks for being on Meet the Radio Missionary. We're going to do the Nugs too,
we'll do
since
the
you
nuts,
went for it.
Yeah. I couldn't tell what you were doing. The mic was in my way.
That's all right. Y'all saw that.
Yeah.
100% listener-funded missionary radio.